Hello everyone and welcome back to Make Believe, where we're playing World and Economica. Last time we had Yoshiharu teaching Hagana more about stock trading, him starting the stock trading for the competition, and having some profit. Small one, but still profit. But for the big profit, he's gonna need for Hagana to finish her theorem, and it actually work, of course. At the end, we also had Hagana feeling sick from staring at the computer screen the whole day. But she has to go to do her job teaching the kids. Wonder how that's gonna work out. Oh, we're about to find out. And now I have 3 saves. I completely forgot why. I just stood for a while at the table waiting for Hagana to come out of her room. After a while, her footsteps much steadier, Hagana came back holding her bag. What? I sat down in a chair and spoke. Have a safe trip. I imitated Lisa. Hagana's eyes widened in surprise, and then looked away in distaste. But, even so, she squinted at me and replied, I'll be back. Granted, she did not do a Terminator voice, so it didn't go, I'll be back. But she did her very own Hagana impression. Hagana quickly turned around and left the front entrance with great strides. Looking at her retreating back, I felt like I got a sense of why Lisa liked to dote on Hagana. That's cute. The next day, when I went out to eat breakfast, Hagana came out holding her terminal. It was annoying listening to Lisa scolding, so I finished breakfast quickly before focusing on the screen. Hagana may or may not have thought my actions were a brilliant idea, but she was about to get scolded by Lisa too, so she put her terminal away. Oh, okay, I was about to ask why were both of them getting scolded. Oh, because they had their terminal at the breakfast table. Now, instead of staring at her terminal, she was eating her bread with bigger bites than usual. But even so, Hagana wasn't stuffing her cheeks full like Chris, and in the end, she finished it in about the same time as usual. At that point, I started trading. Today, Hagana wasn't watching next to me, but kept fiddling with her terminal at the same table. So now she's working her theorem, huh? I had copied the data from Investment Contest's official page, so she was using that as a basis for her thought experiments. Lisa didn't have her part-time job today, so after she was done with the housework, she made coffee for me, cocoa for Hagana, and then she started reading on the sofa. I'll take the cocoa. I'm not a fan of coffee. Today was a book about theologists who was nicknamed Dr. Angelicus. After that, the trading today continued much like yesterday. Often, a stock that yielded profits once would continue to yield profits. The only real difference from yesterday was that I put a bit more capital in. That sketchy stock was hanging around 272 moles today. Oh yeah, there was also this sketchy stock that he was investing on. Wonder if that's gonna pay off at the end. It was headed a bit upwards, but the short sales were piling up further. In the morning market, I managed to pull in 90,000 moles of profit off the stocks I've profited on yesterday. That left me with a net gain of 210 moles. It wasn't bad, but hopelessly insufficient. The instant the morning session ended, I was foul-mouthed. Shoot. Sitting diagonally across the table, Hagana looked up. It's freaking shoot. You lost? No, I didn't. If you won, why are you angry? It's not enough. That's the problem. Hagana nodded seriously. I got annoyed and asked, Well, how are you doing? I'm studying. What? necessary things. At that, I wrinkled my nose. What's necessary? Looking at the internet, there are theoretical models for stock prediction. Wait, what? Right now, I'm analyzing and learning things I don't know. The theory is also fascinating. Wait, you can download these things off the net? You can. Wow, she's actually teaching him something about the net, huh? I couldn't bring myself to believe that and was stunned. Why would something that would make money be on the net? If it could really predict the price of stocks, then everyone would be profiting. What idiot put it there? Wait, show me. I told Hagana as I leaned across the table. Hagana's brows narrowed, but she turned the terminal around. Now it's time for her to show her terminal to him. What's this? An academic paper, taken from the author's name. It's called the Reach Model. Let's assume that a stock price moves essentially randomly on a short time scales and follows a normal distribution. Huh? I'm not following. Stop talking math, girl. However, because today's stock price is influenced by yesterday's price changes, you use that as conditions for the conditional probabilities to derive today's price. Then, integrating the long normal distribution over a fixed interval, you can obtain the expected value of the fluctuation for a given interval. Stop. My brain's gonna explode. What? I get it that I have absolutely no idea what you're doing. Hagana's brows furrowed. She looked at me, then back at the terminal, and tilted her head. And also, I looked up what you talked about yesterday. About sentiment? Because that's right, they were also doing that, talking about that he mentioned sentiment and she wasn't understanding. Because with her it's all about logic. But for him, sometimes there's feeling involved. You just have a feeling it's gonna work out. What? I was just about to start shivering over how she really was a genius and barely put words together. Charts? Using those things. This way it's much simpler to calculate. Oh, she's talking about the charts, not the sentiment. On one hand, saying how the calculations were simple, while on the other, using the word chart with so little confidence. The gap was enough to make me laugh. She was having a hard time saying chart. Oh, talk about the golden cross? Golden cross. When the moving average starts turning upward and the daily price movement are starting to cross the moving average line. I wound up sounding like a know-it-all again, but Hagana looked totally confused. It's so surprising how they can know so much about different things, even though they're both mixing together. But I guess that's how the teamwork's gonna come into play. With small cough, I continued. To be honest, it's a pattern that's used often in chart analysis. I don't really know the words, but the idea is super simple. Yeah, because chart analysis is easy to understand. I don't really hate it, but I got a feeling that's not that useful. You just have to put the statistics out and derive the probabilities. If the probabilities are in your favor, all you have to do is trade a bunch, and it'll come to the expected value. Oh, that's true. You can do that? Yes, anyone who can do arithmetic can. What? Now, it was my turn to ask questions. Add, subtract, multiply, divide. You know, basic math. Hagana's eyes narrowed as she looked at me. It was bad enough that I wondered if she thought I was an idiot. Adding and multiplying. No one's called that arithmetics, I thought to myself. Everyone calls that just math. But, well, if I knew which had a better probability of working, then that'd be a help, I guess. Yes. So, which ones look good? When I asked, Hagana's gaze fell on the terminal. I was surprised because I thought she had already finished the calculations. However, Hagana didn't move. Just as I started to form questions, Hagana finally lifted her eyes from the terminal and looked at me. To answer that, there's a problem. Oh? It was something I realized when I was thinking of a different model. What is it? Hagana looked down and mumbled. I can't program. She's good with math, but computer is just beyond her. What? When I asked again, Hagana lifted her face and glared at me as she spoke. Yeah, they're asking what a lot at each other. I can't program. Don't make me say it again. Even if I know how to calculate, doing it all by hand is stupid, and there are things that you just can't realistically calculate by hand. Ah, that's true. But that was a blind spot in the plan. So I'm guessing Yoshiharu also can't program? Even though Hagana had amazing math abilities, it didn't necessarily mean she could apply them. School problems you can do on paper, but even in the investment contest stock trades, there were thousands of stocks, and each had a ton of information. As I was clutching my head, suddenly a voice came from the sofa. Someone said program? Oh, can Lisa program? What? When I turned around, it was Lisa. Well, yes, I did. Though actually I think it was Hagana that was saying it. I don't really know much, but programming? I know someone who's good at that, so I'll introduce you. Oh, okay, so she's not the one that's good at programming, but she knows someone that is. That's good enough. Really? Come to think of Lisa did graduate from the Lunar City University. Someone like that must have connections to geniuses that I couldn't even imagine. Yes, I think that person would help you. And I'd been wondering if there were any way I could help you too. So I'm gonna make sure you get helped. Lisa gave a wry smile, and my face soured a bit too. Not doing this all because of you, Baka. Really? Suddenly, sitting across from me, Hagana spoke. Hagana turned around, glaring at me. You're not doing this for Lisa? What do you mean? Well, he's kind of doing this for all of you. He helped out Lisa, but in exchange, you're helping out him to get more money and closer to his dream. Well, why are you the one getting angry? It's not what I meant. Then, what did you mean? While I shrank back from Hagana, who still looked on the verge of flinging her terminal at me, Lisa stood up and stretched a bit. Hagana, how's being considerate of me? Not helping me. Close, but not quite the same. Right? It was embarrassing under Lisa's wry smile, so I turned my face away. Sure, laughing. Don't say it, I thought. So, introductions would be better off sooner than later, right? Well, then I'll go talk to that person. Evening's best, right? She's not even saying if it's a guy or girl. Yeah, anything after 5. Okay, got it. I'll go make dinner then. With that, Lisa went to the bathroom and then stood in the kitchen. I shook my head and looked back at the computer, while Hagana sat in front of her terminal and tilted her head. Wait, dinner? Didn't they have breakfast like not too long ago? The afternoon session was a steady advance, swinging 2 million moves around, each time earning 2% profit with a total of 16 wins and 2 losses. In total, 26% up. The only point of regret was that if I had cut losses faster, I would have better performance. Yup, always that little regret. But even then, it had been a while since I'd seen these kind of numbers. Up 520,000 moves. Adding to the 120,000 yesterday, that was 640,000. With that, earning 10% on 2 million would have yielded 200,000, but with 2.7 million, 10% would be 270,000, meaning I could earn an extra 70,000 moles. Just like that, through the power of compound interest, money grows. Money generates money. I wish it could go like this in the real world, but I knew it was probably impossible. In the imaginary world, a few tens of thousands of participants were each given an imaginary 10 million moles and were forced to trade with all their might in 40 days. What I learned while trading was that everyone was trading hurriedly. Because of that, the stocks movement grew big, and ultimately, if you could just ride the wave well, you'd make a ton. In the real world, everyone was a lot more cautious, so it wouldn't be like this often. When I gazed at the computer screen with an impossibly smug look, Hagana returned to the living room, apparently having gone back to her room to think. And yeah, since they're using virtual stocks, virtual money doesn't have the same impact on people, so they're not being as cautious. Time to head out. What? We talked about this morning. Oh, meeting that person. I yawned and rolled my head to the side, making popping noises. Hagana saw that and looked surprised. Where's Lisa? Oh no, where's Lisa? Hal was the one saying that, not Hagana. She went out. Sometimes the neighbors ask for her. Oh? What does she do? Sermons. Right. She's still the owner of the church. Huh? Lisa's a Christian. There's a number of people in this town like that. Really now? I had thought that all the people who came from the Earth to the Moon were scientific and realistic types. I mean, she did study religion at the Moon University, so I'd wager there's a couple people interested in that. People who wanted to gather so much money they wouldn't fear God, or those who came from the hell of knowing that there was no God. And you can't wait until she comes back? Why? She told me the person's name and location. Oh, I see. Then have a nice trip. How? You're not going? As I copied Lisa's way of speaking, I returned to the computer screen. Right after I did, Hagana's hand struck the table. Why am I the only one going? True? Me too? Of course. Are you stupid? Oh hey, we got that line back. She finally said it. It was a pain to get worked up, so with a sigh of resignation, I got up and gave a big stretch. Yeah, I imagined you were also gonna meet the person. Also, Lisa said that Hal was familiar with the area. You can't even go on an errand alone? Did you say something? Nope, nothing. I didn't say anything. Quiet. Hagana had been speaking while looking at a map on her terminal, but now she glared at me. Whether she heard me or not, she had a mean look in her eye. So was scared. So, where is it? I'm not all that familiar with the area either. The 5th outer section, 7th block, number 6, building 3, 4th floor. 3rd room to the right, the 2nd door. Like, very precise. I have no idea if you just recite the address. Business name, Big Bowl Cafe. Oh, hey! We're going back to the beginning. The Big Bowl Cafe. And I'm guessing the guy that owns the Big Bowl Cafe is the programmer. What? When I looked at Hagana, she looked up from the terminal and spoke. Emmanuel Serrault. Oh yeah, Serrault. I remember that part of the name. Serrault. I had heard the name of the place before. was the shopkeeper who was a perfect example of a lunar outcast. That guy? Is he going to introduce us to someone else? It can't be him. I don't know. I'll still meet with him. You know the place? I know it. And yeah, I remember that Lisa knows Harold too. I see. Hagana nodded and put the terminal in her bag. I also began to put away my laptop, but a number of question marks floated in my head. Is that guy like that really going to be of use? Like, actual use? Hagana and I left the church together. As always, it was a dirty building. Nothing changed since I left, huh? Still, this area was a lot better than the one where Lisa had her church, so Hagana had nothing to fear. There were a lot more beat up and dreary buildings near Lisa's. Hagana and I... What? Did I just fumble I? How did I fumble a letter? Let's try again. Hagana and I walked into a concrete building covered with cracks and went up the stairs. The walls were covered with an array of sheets of paper, and they were all about part-time jobs and loan offers. Lisa had apparently made arrangements beforehand, and Cyril wasn't a stranger, so there was no reason to be nervous. As we entered through the automatic doors, we found Cyril at the counter right by the side, fiddling with a game machine, his long legs up on the counter. Oh, I forgot about that music. Yo. When he noticed me, he took his feet off the table, and when he saw Hagana come in after me, his eyes widened. Well, looks like you found a nice girlfriend. Wait, what? Huh? Is she not? Lisa said so. Lisa wouldn't lie. What? Just a joke, dude. Don't get mad, moon scum. I glared at him, and Cyril's shoulder just shook with his laughter. From there, he looked at Hagana. He waved, smiling and tilting his head slightly. Why is the music going so hard in this? What's with this friendliness? Was he always like this? Meanwhile, Hagana seemed to get shyer. She was stiffly guarded when confronted with that friendliness. However, her line of sight was directed at Cyril's head. That puffy hair, green hair. Maybe it wasn't so much that she was shy, but perhaps she was just afraid of afros. She was afraid of the afro power. So, Lisa said to come here. Yeah, I heard. You're looking for a programmer? Programmer. Well, I'm not sure if it's that what we want. You don't know? What's the deal? Well, Lisa did say she didn't really get it either. Yeah. I was searching for the right words to explain when Cyril continued to speak. Huh. Your face looks quite better. A bit better than it used to. I see you've been eating. Huh? What? Yeah. In just a few days it changed. Kids are amazing things. Just... puberty. What's with you? Looking for a fight? Chill out, man. After all, Lisa's really kind. Hey, did you already use her lap for a pillow? Just asking. What? Lap for a pillow? I don't think he had a lap pillow. I had a brief image of myself sleeping, resting my head on Lisa's lap. It wasn't a bad thing. But wait. Lisa took care of this guy too. Wait, this guy? Together with Lisa? Ew. Lisa's lap. It makes a great pillow, right? How about you, Missy? Did you try it yet? When Cyril spoke to her with a smile, Hagana pulled back and tucked her jaw in slightly, like she was wary, but eventually she nodded. Eh? Wait, am I the only one that has it? You're the only one who has it. Yeah, that's what he just said. Well, not like it would matter anyhow. I don't care about that stuff. Nope. Not really. But, well, it would have been nice if it were with Earth's gravity. I'm sure with gravity's pull. Oh, soft and pliant. Hey, calm down, Earth Dog. Let's not talk about Lisa. When I threatened him, Cyril's shoulders shook with laughter. Calm down, man. You get your turn eventually. It happens to everyone. I'm not talking about the lap hill, okay? We're moving on from that. Alright. Don't shout. So, you want a program? If it's not something messy, well, I'll give you a good price. Wait, what? What? You want a program, right? I was getting fed up with this and shot back. What? You're going to do it? Yup, that's right. Got a problem? When I had trouble answering, Hagana looked at me. This person isn't Emmanuel Sarah? That's me, Missy. Missy? Hagana asked angrily. Sarah also shrank back in jest. May I please have your name, Missy? Hagana. Oh. Sarah nodded and seemed to place some significance in her name, but didn't say anything further. Oh, does he know where she's from? He probably knew that she had ran away from home, like I did. Hagana is a strange name. There wouldn't be more than one person with it. So, I'm Sarah. What do you require of me, Hagana? I want a program from you. Nice to get straight to the point, finally. What kind of program should I make? A formula related to statistics. If possible, numerical analysis using calculus as well. Or something that can run multiple regression analysis just from manipulating a few variables. And if you can do Monte Carlo simulations. Whoa, stop there. Let's calm down. Yes? What are you even saying? I don't know half the words you just said. The program. When Hagana answered, Sarah peered at her face. Then, looking at me, he shook his head. Something for Lisa's University? Is that it? It's not. Games that kids play these days. Regression analysis and Monte Carlo simulations appear in them? That's news to me. I guess kids are evolving at a fascinating rate. Apparently, in the ones I'm playing, and I did not even know. What? Seriously? Sarah's eyes popped at my answer, but Hagana quickly spilled the beans. Oh, Hagana, you did not know to keep a secret, huh? You did not. We're trading stocks. I'm predicting with math. How's trading on sentiment? It wasn't wrong, but that makes it sound like I was going by luck and gut feeling, which is only partially true. At the word stocks, Sarah looked like he finally got it and nodded repeatedly. I see. And so, can you do it? Hagana asked. Well, I probably can. Maybe. Perhaps. Really? Sarah gave me a puzzled look at my surprise. Didn't you hear from Lisa? About what? When I questioned him back, Sarah's eyebrows narrowed. Then, giving his head a light shake, he spoke. Doesn't matter anyway. If it's not really some crazy kind of math, I can do it. And that Monte Carlo thing? Well, I could probably do that too. Whatever that is. And usability wise, I'll guarantee be better than some random programmer can ever do. Really? Of course, you have my word. He answered Hagana with a smile. However, Hagana's eyes were still on Cyril's afro, and she was braced as if something might jump out there at her. If it stocks, then there's data, right? Or format. Look up the investment contest by the Ratzinger Economics Research Center. You'll find the data posted there. And I want to use that to look things up. Ratzinger? How do you pronounce that again? What? You know them? Well, if it's what I'm thinking, they're famous after all. I know a few people there. Wait, what? For real? Okay, I got it. The things you want in the program. Just write it down and send it to this email address, and I'll do it for you. You can bring your complaints and questions directly here too, since I'm usually in the shop, you know. If I'm not at the counter, I'm in the VIP room in the back. Are you living here or something? Exactly, my friend. It was a bit frustrating, but at the least the programming issue was going to work out. As for the payment, yeah, you can pay me when you make it big. Let's call it an investment. Cyril gave a sly laugh. Hagen and I both looked at each other for an instant, but since we couldn't waste money, we decided to nod for now and say our thanks. When we returned to the church, Lisa had come back and was making dinner. Welcome home. Did you see Cyril? Yeah. He did? That's good. This is the time to depend on your connections. After speaking, Lisa quickly turned back to the kitchen. But as I looked at her from behind, I recalled that exchange with Cyril. A lap pillow, huh? I wonder how that feels. It wasn't that I absolutely wanted to try it, but I wasn't totally against the idea, you know? Maybe just once. When the thought occurred, without knowing it, I was just staring at her tights. When I noticed Hagana was giving me a curious look, I looked away quickly and went to my room. Lap pull. Now that's not gonna get out of my head anytime soon, is it? How was it? Moving my pillow, I tried a few things. And then, getting fed up with how stupid I was acting, I fell flat on the bed. The next day, there was some movement with that suspicious stock I bought into. Oh really? What happened? The trigger seemed to be that someone went and bought a big order. Right after trading it in, the stock seemed to freeze for a moment. It was like seeing the exact moments the tides turned. The stock that had been hanging around 270 moles rocketed skyward. I immediately placed what were called market orders. Not orders specifying the price, like buy 1,000 shares at 270 moles, but rather to buy at whatever the going price was at the market. I placed the order, using up even the entire 5 million moles I had promised Hagana. The margin sellers were piled up over 30 times the daily volume, and seemed about to explode at any moment. That was what a horde of sharp-eyed traders like me flooded in on, modesty aside. At the beginning, there were a number of large sell orders putting up resistance, and the scent of blood from the chance of a short squeeze drew an even bigger crowd. There was a rush of orders, and the lag between the situations of the stock on the screen and the real situation started showing up. For moments, the movement would stop, and then the price would suddenly jump up 4 to 5 moles. They weren't able to keep up server side. In the real world markets, if this happened, it would be a one-sided climb afterwards. The guy who sold short and lost would have to buy to cut their losses. That caused other short sellers to close their balance. In a mere 10 minutes, it was up to 290 moles. The daily movement limit for the stock was 350 moles, 4 moles. It had started at 270 moles on dot, so it was plus 30% off of that. Depending on the country, price movement limits might not exist. I never even knew about price movement limits. Even within an exchange, the levels that the limits were set varied among stocks. The price on the screen kept climbing and climbing, and in moments, 300 was in sight. At 300, there was a glut of sell orders waiting. One thing you learn from trading is that even though there's no rational reason for it, there's always a huge order waiting at round multiples of 10 or 100. It was a psychological thing, a turning point, I could say. If it broke through 300, there would be no bigger breakpoint to speak of. If the sellers were to put up resistance, this was it. There were 46,000 shares of buy orders versus 128,000 shares of sells. Sellers were bigger by 3 to 1, but I still didn't think it would stop. Okay, new music. At that moment, I opened an order to buy on margin. Here it is. This was the first time something spoke to me, telling me this was the moment. Maybe it was because I glanced at the wall of sell orders, but I took a short breath before resuming trading. There, I trusted 10 million moles, the limit for buying on margin. I can make the excuse with Hagana that I hadn't promised to not use the margin. Plus, if it profited, she wouldn't find out. In any case, in that moment, my order was of a bit under 40,000 shares, was blazing a trail. After that, it was like a fountain spraying. Whether that was a sweet wine of victory or a spray of blood, depending on where you were standing. Holding back the urge to jump up from my chair and shout, I put in sell order the instant my order went through. The set price was 349 moles, 5 under the price limit of 354 moles. What a gain! I didn't put it at 354 moles because if it went there and there weren't enough buyers, the trade wouldn't close before the market did. In that case, there would be a chance that the demons in the last 10 minutes might kill me. I didn't put it at 350 moles because it was a round number. Right now, the stock was hitting new highs. So, except for people who were caught with short sales, everyone else was taking their profits. If everyone was aiming to take their profits, then 350 moles, that nice round psychological point, would be the place where everyone would want to sell. That's why I put in an order for just before that, 349 moles. Just like those 99 cents shop. Like an old anime spaceship straddle, the price of the stock on the screen rushed forward. There's no feeling like watching your position get larger with every breath. That feeling of omnipotence at having made the right decision, that feeling of superiority in having beat out other opponents. And then, 27 minutes before the end of the morning session, the deal closed at 349 a mole. Profit, a bit over 3.6 million mole. That's some great profit. That feeling of your head tingling and your hair standing on an end. This was it. That feeling I had long forgotten. I honestly I was not expecting the shady stock to work out this episode. I was thinking it would be much later in the competition. I was so happy I couldn't speak, so I took a deep breath. Looking at the rush of buy orders flooding in when the stock hit the daily high limit, I laughed tiredly. Not feeling bad about it, even if it hit the limit again, was the ironclad path to victory. Sarcastically, I made sure I didn't forget to tell myself that. Just as I looked at the screen, unable to contain my smile, Hagana came into the living room from the hall. She had a suspicious look that said, "There's a wacko here." But I didn't care. I was too happy to care about that. If she had to come a bit closer, I might have run over and hugged her. That's how happy I was. I might get to the point where we definitely win before you start to catch up with your math. I said to Hagana as she went to the bathroom. As she put her hand on the doorknob, she turned around slightly. "But you give Lisa 50,000 moles from the prize money, right?" "Yeah, of course." "Then that works too." Hagana said that and headed to the bathroom. I thought she'd be a bit more competitive and annoyed at my success, but she didn't seem that way at all. All she cared was that Lisa got her money. I was a bit disappointed and returned my eyes to the screen. "Oh? Did it go that well?" Lisa appeared in front in the hallway leading to the church. She had a triangle of cloth on her head and a mask on, apparently for cleaning. I turned around and Lisa took her mask off to reveal a knowing smile. Shut up. Things went well and you want praise. How honest of you. I won't deny or agree to that. Lisa was really sharp-eyed. I held my head in front of the computer. Anyway, I wonder if I should just cut things off here. What were you doing all morning? Just big house cleaning. It's that time of the year? Nope. But this is about all I can do after all. What? When I asked her out of confusion, Lisa took the cloth from her head and took off her gloves. She then threw them behind her and came to the living room in relief. I can't be any direct help to either you or Hagana. In that case, I can be of use keeping this place clean. Just being a clean place can give power. I don't really get it, but you do you. I said as I turned back to the screen. It's better than being dirty, I guess. Right? Well, besides that, having delicious food and clean clothes. Oh, and how? You're always popping your neck and shoulders. Should I give you a massage? Look at that look she's giving. Lisa wiggled her long, thin fingers as she spoke. For some reason, she was hunched over like a witch trying to scare children. What was she up to? I don't need that. Oh? Get a massage for a young woman like me isn't something that happens every day, you know. You should have been the one saying that. Oh. Lisa laughed theatrically and went to the sink. As I watched her back, I thought in my heart, if you wear a lap pillow, and then I sighed. The lap pillow is still in your mind, huh? Okay, next day, so I think we're gonna stop here. I'm a bit lost. Okay, I think it's this one. So, we had a couple of things. We had the program, we had the lap pillow. Well, not the actual lap pillow, but the talk that made it be stuck in Yoshiharu's head. We also had the shady stock exploding. And a happy Lisa, huh? So yeah, things are looking bright. I'm just worried if at any point there's gonna be a drop in this roller coaster. Well, we can only wait to find out later. So with that being said, see you next time. Bye.